All right, we're here. We're back for another success call. I'm super, super excited. I'm here with Dani from Recoverie.com. She helps artists and crafters to make money and sell their arts online. And she recently completed You've Got Clients, and she has some success to share. So I thought I would hop on a call with her. So hello, Dani. Thanks for joining.
Hi, LaTisha.
Awesome. So this has been a while in the making. So I'm going to give a little bit of the backstory, but we started working together you purchased You've Got Clients, you kind of jumped in and started doing some of the work. And we worked on your webinar a little bit. And so it was a little bit of a path to get to the results. So before we get there and start talking about all of that, because everyone thinks it's just a straight shot up, right? And I want to make sure we kind of cover that. Before we get there, tell us about what was it that made you decide to invest in the first place? Like, why did you say, You've Got Clients and I need to create this system for myself?
So I've never really done ads. My business has always been pretty much organic. I'm starting to have a lot of luck with that traffic, like through my blog and stuff, and I had all these systems set up and I felt like the missing piece was a webinar. And I think what resonated with your program was specifically like, you say the introvert. I'm not an introvert, but I would love to have passive income, and I would like to spend my time with my clients as opposed to on my marketing and all that stuff. I want that to work automatically. And I've been watching people do webinars for a couple of years. I had been watching them up until your program do webinars, and I had a very set idea of what a webinar looked like in my head. And I saw that you had a little bit of a different approach, and I liked the webinar with the ads. And I think that's kind of was like, this is the missing piece. This is what I need. And I had just lost my job. So I was like, all right, it's time, let's go.
I always find it interesting, like, especially like a lot of times you're not the first person who said that, like, I lost my job. And so like, now it's time to invest. And for anyone who's watching it, if you're like, I'm watching this and like, I just lost my job, just so you know, Dani's not the only one. But you jumped right in. And usually what that does is puts that fire underneath people to like really get them to move. So you went through the program, you started on the webinar, and then I think you contacted me. I got the email up right here, September 1st. So tell us about what happened the first time you hosted your webinar.
I think, well, here's the thing, like coming into your program, I think I kind of messed it up the first time because I had so many I've been doing this for a long time, and my coaching program was new. Like I literally lost my job, started a coaching program, got 7 clients, and then was like, how do I keep this going? I don't know how, because it was all low hanging fruit. So then I did the webinar, I did the live stream, and that went well. And then I hosted the webinar and people loved it. And my thing was like, I just couldn't get enough people on it because I wasn't doing ads. I had organic traffic. The people that did show up were super pumped. But the thing was, nobody got on the call with me. And I was like, okay, well, I know it's not my energy. I think the webinar is good. I don't think I did it correct the first time because I rushed into it, which was my bad. But there was a part that I just couldn't figure out, and I should have emailed you right away, but I didn't. My fault. But yeah, I like to just like drive through. Let's just try it and mess it up, and then I'll figure it out later.
That's perfect.
So that's what ended up happening. I did the thing. I ended up emailing some of the women who were on, who had been answering my questions during the webinar. They were so excited. And I was like, hey, is there anything I can help you with? Is there a reason you didn't sign up for a phone call? And they're like, oh, I just can't afford it right now. And I was like, okay, like, good feedback. I think really it was just a numbers game and maybe getting the right people on. So yeah, I didn't get anything from that. So that's when I kind of, a little bit later, I was like afraid to do it. And I didn't have the money to jump into ads. So that's when I was like, I better reach out to her because something's off.
And I'm glad you did, because obviously like I would have had no idea. So you reached out and I was like, let's look at the stats. So we looked at the stats. We actually ended up looking at the webinar, and then I was like, oh, okay. So these are the things that we need to change. So we did the review.
Oh, it's terrible.
I was like, okay, we got to move this and do this. And that's why, so we recently structured You've Got Clients, and we pulled it into the Path to Six Figures coaching program, and everyone gets a webinar review. And this is part of the reason why, because I was like, oh, if I could have just looked at this, we would have been absolutely fine the first time. So we did that. you moved across the country and like you did all this other stuff, but then you redid the webinar script and you did the new one. And then you said that you basically just had it recorded on your website, right?
Right. So what ended up happening is I basically like, I was struggling financially in New York, and I was like, okay, I need to like regroup.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was obviously bad with the pandemic. I was like, I'm going to come back to Cali for a little bit. So I'm back here. I have all this time to work. I fixed the webinar. I was so proud. Did it like recorded it 17 million times, but I got it. I felt good with it. You said I nailed it. So I was like, okay, so that piece is done. Next is ads, but I can't afford that now. So for the meantime, I'm going to work on this stuff, work up, my finances, and then I'm going to stick it on my website where I already have like organic traffic, and I just made it a button. So they have a couple options. They can come in and they can click on this, or then I put one for the webinar, and it basically just would immediately send them the webinar. They would watch it. It pitches the phone call, and then it gives them the email sequence. It's just really simple. And I was like, that's the best I can do right now. So let's just see what happens. And I was kind of watching the numbers. Not a lot of people went through it because I'm still building up that like stream of those specific people, which is now growing very quickly. But like 2 weeks ago, I got an email and it was like, oh, you got a calendar invite. And I was like, huh? I haven't seen one of those in like 6 months. So I was like, holy moly. And like, I think I'd just been kind of down on myself because like the last person who had signed up didn't pull through, like she didn't show up. And I was like, like something's off. I got to speed up the numbers, whatever. So anyways, the woman booked her call. I got on the phone with her a couple days ago, and I had decided I was ready to double my price since I had the first group of people go through. So I was like practicing like double your price, keep saying it. Like it was like, I've never charged this much money for anything in my freaking life. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Go big or go home, right? So I got on the phone. I loved her immediately. She was a perfect fit. And we just chatted, and towards the end, she's just like, okay, how much? And I was like, this is how much. And she's like, I'm in. And I was like, you're kidding.
You're like, it's that easy.
I can do this. Yeah. So it was a lot of new things. I know that the system works. I was already confident. I had already built up the organic side of it. It's just a matter of getting more people through. I'm starting to target the right people. More and more of those people are coming in, responding to my blogs, responding to my webinars, things like that. So it's amazing to have that just piece of content, even if for now it's just stuck there. But I'm excited to see like what else it can bring for my business.
Yeah, it's that having that one solid piece of content, and you already have organic traffic coming in. And like you said, it's just the one little button. They go there, they watch it, they know it's right for them, which makes them get on the phone. And then they're like, okay, how much is it? And then they sign up right away, which is like perfect. And then once you have the opportunity to, start paying for traffic and start bringing people in on a more consistent basis, then it's just going to continue to grow from there. But at least now the webinar works, or anti-webinar, right? Like it works, it does what it's supposed to do. So what's your thought process and like plan for going forward as far as like continuing to grow this? What are you thinking there?
I really like the idea still of, continuing with the webinar stuff and having it pass. I like that it's kind of like evergreen on my website. And, there's no like timer or deadline or anything, but it's there if people want it. And like you say, it does like a little bit of the heavy lifting. So I don't have to be like, hey, you should sign up because these reasons. So I think my goal this year, I was like, okay, well, once a month, I'm going to host a live webinar. And I'm going to just try to get better at it every month. So that way I just, by the end of the year, I should have like more clients, whatever. And then, have it evergreen, and then also do like a live one, and maybe start when I can afford it to start putting some ads on it and like, doing that live one. So that's kind of my goal right now. But yeah, it feels really good to have like that one client and just be like, okay, all that trouble was like worth it. Yes. And it'll just, and it'll just all be profit from here because I've already paid off your program.
Awesome. It all worked out in the end. But cool. Yeah. I really I was excited to chat with you and feature your story because like I said, like a lot of times people believe it's like a straight line. And it's usually not. Like, there's usually ups and downs along the way, but when you stay the course and you stick to it, that's when, you know, you'll see your success. Like, you are going to be successful. It's not a matter of if, it's just when and how quickly. So Dani, thank you so much. If you were to speak to that person, like that former you, who's like, all right, I just quit my job, I'm ready to like take my coaching business all the way, what would you say to them? They're like, they're on the fence, they're thinking about it. Like, what would you say to that person, knowing what you know now?
I think I knew it was going to work. I just didn't know when. And it was just nerve wracking because I didn't have another source of income, and it was a lot of money put out for what I had at that point. So I would just be like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's going to work out. Like, just be patient.
Yeah. That is the key. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I cannot wait to see how things continue to grow for you. Have no doubt that people will continue to come on an organic standpoint, as well as, you know, as you continue to reinvest, you know, here and there from those clients who come in working on ads, you will be absolutely fine. So thanks for joining me again, and here's to your continued success.
Thanks.